In the quiet heart of Honduras, tucked away amidst the humid green folds of the Yoro Valley, there exists a town, a place that seems, on the surface, entirely unremarkable. Yoro, a cluster of simple homes, a bustling market square, dusty roads carved by generations of footsteps. Life here moves with the steady, predictable rhythm of the seasons. Farmers tend their fields, children chase stray dogs down sun-baked alleys, and the elderly gather on shaded porches, watching the clouds drift by. It was a day much like any other, in May of 1998, when the sky above Yoro began to darken. The morning had dawned clear, a brilliant canvas of azure above the emerald landscape. But as the afternoon wore on, a peculiar stillness descended. The air grew heavy, thick with an unspoken anticipation. The wind, usually a playful presence, died completely. Then, a low rumble began to build on the horizon, not the familiar growl of a coming thunderstorm, but something deeper, more resonant, like the earth itself was sighing. Locals, accustomed to the dramatic temperament of tropical weather, watched with a cautious curiosity as the clouds overhead started to coalesce, twisting into an unnatural, bruised purple mass. There was no lightning yet, no torrential downpour, just a strange, almost electric tension in the atmosphere and the deepening, ominous hue of the sky. Then, the first drops began to fall. But they were not drops of water. A single silvery glint caught the eye of a woman hurrying to bring in her laundry. She paused, frowning, as a small, scale-covered object landed with a wet thud at her feet. Then another, and another. Within moments, the sky itself seemed to open up, not with rain, but with a torrent of living, gasping fish. The initial shock quickly gave way to a bewildered terror. Children screamed, scattering from the streets. Adults stood frozen, their faces upturned, as countless tiny bodies rained down around them, striking roofs, bouncing off cobblestones, filling gutters with frantic, wriggling life. These were not large, predatory fish. They were small, no more than 6 inches long, with the unmistakable silvery sheen of freshwater species. Yet, they were here, falling from a sky that, moments before, had promised only a tropical downpour. The sound was unforgettable, a soft, sickening patter of scales on every surface, punctuated by the faint, desperate gasps of thousands of dying creatures. The streets of Yoro vanished beneath a carpet of shimmering, suffocating life. When the impossible storm finally abated, leaving behind a silence heavier than any thunder, the town of Yoro was transformed. Every inch of exposed ground, rooftops, sidewalks, garden beds, the main plaza, was covered in a thick, glistening layer of fish. Residents emerged from their homes slowly, cautiously, their eyes wide with a mixture of disbelief and a chilling, ancient awe. The air was thick with the smell of brine and damp earth, and the faint, unsettling scent of dying things. For hours, the townspeople worked, not in panic, but with a strange, almost ritualistic solemnity. They swept the fish into buckets, collected them from every nook and cranny. Many simply took them home, cleaned them, and cooked them, a bizarre, unsolicited bounty from the heavens. News of the Lluvia de Peces, the rain of fish, spread beyond the valley, drawing the attention of scientists and journalists. The common explanation, the one offered with an air of confident certainty, was a meteorological phenomenon, a waterspout. A powerful rotating column of air, it was theorized, had scooped up fish from a nearby body of water, carried them high into the atmosphere, and then dropped them over Yoro. But the explanation, while scientifically plausible, felt incomplete, unsettling. Yoro is not directly on the coast, nor is it nestled beside a vast lake. The nearest large body of water, the Atlantic Ocean, is miles away, and the fish themselves, small, freshwater species, typically found in rivers and ponds, didn't quite fit the narrative of a waterspout plucking them from the open sea. More profoundly, this wasn't an isolated incident. The people of Yoro knew something the scientists didn't immediately grasp. It happened every year. Every May or June, for over a century, Yoro experiences its Lluvia de Peces. The precise timing varies, the intensity shifts, but the rain of fish is a regular, almost expected, if utterly bizarre, occurrence. The local legend tells of Father José Manuel Subirana, a Spanish missionary who in the mid-19th century prayed for 3 days and 3 nights for food for the poor and hungry people of Yoro. His prayers, the story goes, were answered by a miraculous rain of fish. A beautiful sentiment, perhaps, but one that clashes starkly with the cold logic of meteorology. So, which story holds the truth? Is it a freak of nature, a meteorological anomaly so precise and repetitive that it defies easy categorization? Or is it something more profound, something tied to the very earth and sky of Yoro itself, a recurring miracle, or perhaps a recurring haunting? The scientific community has largely moved on, satisfied with the waterspout hypothesis, even if the precise source of the fish remains frustratingly elusive for each specific event. But for the people of Yoro, the annual fish rain is more than a weather event. It's an ingrained part of their lives, a phenomenon that reminds them, year after year, that the world holds wonders and terrors that defy simple explanation. They gather the fish, they cook them, they live their lives, but underneath the surface, there lingers an unspoken question. Why us? Why here? What truly happens when the sky above Yoro decides to open, not with water, but with a deluge of gasping silver life? And what might it truly mean to live under a sky that so consistently, so defiantly, breaks all the rules? The answers remain scattered, like scales on a